wonderful and beautiful people of God. This is your friend and your sister. You're welcome back to my channel, Elizabeth Mo. So today I'm going to be talking about something, and it's actually going to be like a series, but I'm just going to start first. And we're going to be talking about the book of Joseph. We're going to be talking about Joseph in the Bible. We want to go back to Genesis. What are the things that we can actually learn from this person that we call Joseph? So I'm going to be reading it out to you, and I'm going to be saying some things about it, and we carry on from there. That's what we're going to be doing. So before we go into this very chapter or series, or how do I say it, I want to thank each and every one of you that have been watching my videos. I want to thank those of you that have been sharing them with your friends. Thank you so much. I also want to say thank you, because I know that you will watch this video to the end. You will want to watch the series to the very end. You're going to drop me your comments. So I'm saying thank you to you in advance. So let us dig in. So I'm reading Genesis from chapter 37, and I will be reading from here. I do not have a Bible here with me, so I'm going to be reading from here. I'm going to be reading the Bible passages from here. So I'll just check it out. I'm going to Genesis chapter 37. That is the beginning. I'm choosing to start from Genesis chapter 37 because that would give us like a background into what has happened to Joseph and where he is coming from. Okay, so Genesis chapter 7, I'm reading from the NLT version of the Bible, and I start. Joseph's dream. So we're talking about Joseph, but you're going to hear about Jacob because Joseph is one of the sons of Jacob. Okay, so let's start. So Jacob settled again in the land of Canaan, where his father had lived as a foreigner. This is the account of Jacob and his family. When Joseph was 17 years old, he often tended his father's flocks. He worked for his half-brothers, the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah. But Joseph reported to his father some of the bad things his brothers were doing. Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other children because Joseph had been born to him in his old age. So one day, Jacob had a special gift made for Joseph. What's that? A beautiful robe. Nice. But his brothers hated Joseph because their father loved him more than the rest of them. They couldn't say a kind word to him. One night, Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers about it, they hated him more than ever. Listen to this dream. He said, "We were out in the field, tying up bundles of grain. Suddenly, my bundle stood up, and your bundles all gathered around and bowed low before mine." His brothers responded, "So you think you will be our king, do you? Do you actually think you will reign over us?" And they hated him all the more because of his dreams and the way he talked about them. Soon, Joseph had another dream, and again he told his brothers about it. "Listen, I have had another dream," he said. "The sun, moon, and 11 stars bowed low before me." This time he told the dream to his father as well, to his brothers. But his father scolded him. "What kind of dream is that?" he asked. "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow to the ground before you?" But while his brothers were jealous of Joseph, his father wondered what the dream meant. Soon after this, Joseph's brothers went to pasture their father's flocks at Shechem. When they had been gone for some time, Jacob said to Joseph, "Your brothers are pasturing the sheep at Shechem. Get ready, and I will send them to you. And I will send you to them." "I'm ready to go," Joseph replied. "Go and see how your brothers and the flocks are getting along," Jacob said. "Then come back and bring me a report." So Jacob sent him on his way, and Joseph traveled to Shechem from their home in the valley of Hebron. When he arrived, When he arrived there, a man from the area noticed him wandering around the countryside. "What are you looking for?" he asked. "I'm looking for my brothers," Joseph replied. "Do you know where they are pasturing the sheep?" "Yes," the man told him. "They have moved on from here, but I heard them say, 'Let's go on to Dothan.'" So Joseph followed his brothers to Dothan and found them there. When Joseph's brothers saw him coming, they recognized him in the distance. As he approached, they made plans to kill him. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. "Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of the cisterns. We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard of their scheme, he came to Joseph's rescue. "Let's not kill him," he said. "Why should we shed any blood? Let's just throw him into an empty cistern here in the wilderness. Then he will die without our laying a hand on him." Reuben was secretly planning to rescue Joseph and return to his father. Let me pause here. What sort of rescue is that? If anybody has an idea, you can put it down. But what sort of rescue is that? Let's go on. So when Joseph arrived, his brothers ripped off the beautiful robe he was wearing. Then they grabbed him and threw him into the cistern. Now the cistern was empty. There was no water in it. Then just as they were sitting down to eat, they looked up and saw a caravan of camels in the distance coming towards them. It was a group of Ishmaelite traders, taking a load of gum, balm, aromatic resin from Gilead down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What will we gain by killing our brother? We have to cover up the crime. Instead of hurting him, let's sell him to those Ishmaelite traders. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood." You see, when I keep reading this, I'm like, does these things really happen? Has any of you, any of us, of anyone watching me, have you seen such a thing happen? We all have brothers and sisters, but does it go to the extent of killing? I know brothers and sisters may they might hate one another, they might talk down on one another, they might deprive one person from something or the other, but to the extent of killing? Anyway, let's go on. And his brothers agreed. So when the Ishmaelites, who were Midianite traders, came by, Joseph's brother pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver. And the traders took him to Egypt. Just to be human, I'm just thinking, so what do you think was going on in Joseph's mind when they pulled him out from the cistern? Was he begging them? I mean, was he appealing to them that, "Please don't sell me"? What was he saying? Because it's not recorded in the Bible here. I'm just imagining, I'm just thinking, what could be going on in his mind? Let's keep on reading. Verse 29 now. Sometime later, Reuben returned to get Joseph out of the cistern. When he discovered that Joseph was missing, he tore his clothes in grief. Then he went back to his brothers and lamented, "The boy is gone. What will I do now?" Then the brothers killed a young goat and dipped Joseph's robe in the blood. I think this was what they were avoiding the other time, that they will have to cover the lie, wouldn't they? Now they're now killing another goat to cover the lie that they have done. They sent the beautiful robe to their father with this message: "Look at what we found. Doesn't this robe belong to your son?" Their father recognized it immediately. "Yes," he said, "it is my son's robe. A wild animal must have eaten him. Joseph has clearly been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his clothes and dressed himself in burlap. He mourned deeply for his son for a long time. His family all tried to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. "I will go to my grave mourning for my son," he would say, and then he would weep. Every parent will do that one day. Meanwhile, the Midianite traders arrived in Egypt, where they sold Joseph to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. So Potiphar was the captain of the guard. So that is just like a background into how Joseph came into the picture. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying here with me, and I'll see you in my very next video. Bye.